What is going on, anglers of all sorts? It's your boy Kavari Tech Media here with another video. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be breaking down 3 ways to rig for saltwater fishing. I'm going to explain why you should be throwing them, when, and how. So stick around, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you guys are new. I'm going to be posting weekly videos, and let's get right into this video, folks. Alright folks, the first rig I'm going to be talking about for saltwater fishing is going to be the simple Carolina rig. And what you guys are going to need for the Carolina rig are these items as follows. You're going to need a weight of your choice depending on how deep the water is. Right here I have a 1/2 ounce because most of the time I'm fishing anywhere from 10 to 20 feet of water. So I have a 1/2 ounce weight, a swivel, and a little octopus hook, okay? Followed with some leader. I'm using 20-pound. Like I said, I'm not going offshore fishing most of the time, so don't need 50-pound leader or whatnot. And that is really all you're going to need whenever you're tying your Carolina rig, guys. Weight, swivel, your hook, and your leader. So, and this rig right here is going to keep your bait on the bottom. The goal of this rig is to keep your bait on the bottom. So if you think that there's going to be fish at the bottom wherever you're fishing, or if you just want to fish the bottom in general, this is going to be the rig that you want to use, guys. Most of the time that I'm doing this, I'm fishing for flounder. I'm fishing anywhere where there are submerged rocks, where it's pretty deep. It's too deep to throw a popping cork. So anywhere where you want to be as far down to the bottom or at the bottom, you want to be throwing this rig, and this is going to keep your bait on the bottom and make you have a lot more success targeting those fish that are on the bottom. So let's go ahead and show you guys how to rig this thing up. Alright guys, so starting off, what you're going to need is your main line. I have braid right here. You guys might use the same thing, or y'all might use monofilament line. I use braid just because it's just more of a stronger line in my opinion. So what you're going to need is your main line, and you want to grab your weight first and foremost, okay? You want to thread your main line through the weight. Go ahead and pull it through just like that. As you guys see, it slides up and down. And then you want to grab your swivel. Me, I just tie a regular a fisherman's knot. So nothing too fancy. And what this swivel is going to do is this is going to act as a basically, it's going to prevent your weight from going down to your leader. And like I said, I'm just going to be tying the fisherman's knot. There's a million videos on YouTube explaining fishing knots, guys. So if y'all don't know how to tie a knot, I would recommend searching a video first and foremost of how to do that, and then come back to this video. But we're just going to tie a regular fisherman's knot. It doesn't have to look the best right now because I'm just doing a little video. We're going to pull that tight. And what you guys also want to make sure whenever you're tying any saltwater rig or just any rig in general is you want to always cut your tag ends, okay? So make sure that you guys cut that once you are done. So that's the first step of the Carolina rig. As you guys see, it's going to stop your weight from going to your leader. And this right here is where we are going to connect our 20-pound leader, which is eventually going to connect to our hook. So the next step is to go ahead and grab our leader. And me, I like to use about 2.5 feet of leader whenever I'm tying my Carolina rigs, or for the most part, around 2.5 seems to be a good length for me. And I got some pliers here, and I'm just gonna cut it just like so. So we have our leader right here. Like I said, it's really all about preference whenever it comes to leader too, guys. But we're going to find the other end of this swivel, as you guys can see, and we are going to do the same exact thing. We're just going to tie a regular fisherman's knot. And just like that, guys. You want to tie that to the opposite end of the swivel, just like so. And like I said earlier, you just want to make sure that you guys cut y'all's tag ends. And then we are off to the last step of the Carolina rig, which is to tie your hook. And we're going to do, once again, the same exact thing. We're just going to do the fisherman's knot. And once this is done, you guys have a awesome bottom rig to fish at the bottom for any type of species that you guys want. If it's going to be the middle of the day, you know, this is going to be a really good one to use, you know, because usually whenever it's later on in the day, especially this time of year, if it's really hot, those fish are going to go a little bit deeper and they're going to get towards the bottom where it's a little bit cooler. So you guys will see me in a lot of my videos, if I'm fishing structure or whatever, I'm going to be fishing at the very bottom, especially whenever it's, you know, 10 to 2 o'clock in the middle of the day. And there you have it, guys. We have a Carolina rig right here. There's our weight, followed by the leader, followed by the hook. And that is it, guys. That is as simple as it gets. Very easy to tie. And that's going to be the first rig that I'm going to talk about. And like I said, it's kind of obvious, but this is going to be your bottom rig, you know, fishing for all the species that you guys think that are going to be at the bottom and whatnot. So that's going to be the first saltwater rig that I am going to teach you guys. Alright guys, so the next rig I want to talk about is going to be the popping cork, or just a bobber in general. This is going to target the middle water column in the body of water that you guys are fishing. So this can vary in length depending on how long that y'all make y'all's leader line. This thing can go from 2 to 5 to 6 feet. You know, it really all depends on how far you want your bait down. But the thing about this is that it's going to keep your bait off the bottom. So if you guys are fishing over a lot of structure and y'all don't want y'all's bait to be sitting on the bottom getting hung up, this or that, this is going to be an awesome bait because it's going to prevent your bait from going to the bottom, and it's going to keep your bait in the middle of the water column. And a really good concept of the popping cork too is just the noise that it puts off. So as you guys can see right there, this thing is very noisy. So this is going to make a lot of racket, and whenever those fish hear this thing, you know, clicking back and forth, they're gonna come over there and they're going to investigate. And more times than not, this thing is going to get slammed. I've used this many times in my YouTube videos, caught a lot of fish on it, and a perfect way to rig your setup so that your bait is in the middle of the water column. And like I said, guys, y'all can make this thing, you know, y'all can make y'all's leader 4 feet long, 5 feet long, 2 feet long. It really all depends on, you know, the area that you guys are fishing at. But this is going to be a really simple way to tie, guys. The only thing you're going to need to do is grab your main line, and as you guys can tell, there are these two metal balls right here, and that's going to act as your weight, guys. That's going to keep the cork straight. So whenever you do cast it out, it's going to keep your cork vertical, and that's going to make it easier to see. So this is going to be on the bottom. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to tie to your popping cork on the opposite side of the weights. Trust me, I've done that many times. I've tied it on the side of the weights and I cast it out and my cork is laying sideways, and it's just, you know, then you got to retie it, so it's kind of a pain. But and then we're just going to basically do the same thing that we've been doing, guys. You're just going to tie the regular fisherman's knot. And a lot of times, and there you have it, guys. That's the first step. You just want to tie right to that swivel. And a lot of times, whenever I'm throwing the popping cork, I'm usually fishing around grass beds. And you know, I'm not sure if you guys have ever fished live baits around grass beds, but you really don't want your bait to be sitting inside of the grass bed. You want your bait to be, you know, a foot above it or whatnot, and that's going to really increase your chances of getting a strike, is having your bait hovering above any type of grass beds that you are fishing over. And once again, guys, I'm going to grab my leader right here, just for the video's sake, I'm not going to go too long. I'm probably just going to go around 2 feet, but we are going to cut about 2 feet off of it, and we're going to tie it to the opposite end where the weights are at. And there we go, guys. So we have our leader end, we have our main line end. Now all we need to do is we just need to tie a hook to this, and our popping cork and our second rig that we're talking about is going to be complete. All right, guys, so we're going to grab a hook once again, and we're just gonna once again do the fisherman's knot. Very simple. And there you have it. And then, as always, you guys want to always make sure that y'all are clipping y'all's tag ends. And there you go, guys. The popping cork is done. As you guys can see, like I said, perfect rig to target the middle water column and to you know, have your bait submerged just over any type of structure. And yeah, caught a lot of fish on this. Really good to throw over rocks, right near piers and docks, especially over grass beds. And yeah, guys, really simple to tie as well. You don't really need a lot. All you need is just your popping cork, leader, and your hook. So very easy to use and easy to tie rig right there. All right, guys, so the third way to rig your line while saltwater fishing is going to be free lining. Now, I can't tell you guys how many times I have caught fish free lining. And what that is basically saying is that you're just going to be having your line with the bait and throwing it out and letting that bait sit on the very top of the water. I've caught in anywhere from mangrove snapper, you know, redfish, speckled trout, you guys name it. I've caught in so much fish from free lining, and a lot of the times whenever I'm free lining, I'm seeing big schools of bait out there getting blown up on top water. And I don't want to fish at the bottom, guys. I just want to let this bait slowly work the top of the water, and possibly just slowly start to work its way down in the water column. And it's also going to be a very natural presentation to any predator fish, seeing a bait just slowly kind of working its way down, guys. And more times than not, this rig is going to be very effective whenever y'all catch bait around any large bait school that's obviously getting fed on. I would suggest throwing this rig right here. And once again, it's very simple. You just want to grab a swivel with your main line. And one thing to note too, guys, is this is one of my favorite ways to fish during the winter time too, is free lining. I love to free line shrimp whenever it's winter time, because shrimp in general swim very slow, and during the winter time, you know, slow is key whenever you're fishing. And I just like to throw that shrimp out and let that thing kind of work its way behind my kayak or wherever I'm fishing. And usually I can catch a lot of reds and speckled trout letting some shrimp free line during the winter time. And as you guys can see right there, we have our main line connected to our swivel. And now what we're gonna do is, once again, we're gonna grab our leader. And just for video's sake, I'm just gonna get about a foot or so, because this stuff is not cheap. But I do recommend using fluorocarbon leader, guys. You guys will get so much more strikes. This stuff is practically invisible whenever you're fishing in very clear water, so really key. So we're gonna tie a knot right there. As you guys can see, opposite of the Carolina rig, if we were tying the Carolina rig, there would be a weight on the main line with the swivel stopping it. But right now we don't have any weight, just the swivel, and that's going to keep our bait on the top of the surface. So let me grab a hook. And once again guys, gonna tie that hook on there like so, poke it through like that, pull it, and bam, there you have it. Just like that, very easy to tie. And there you have it, guys. That is our third and final rig that I want to talk about whenever saltwater fishing is free lining.